Welcome, everyone, to Life Beyond 6 Feet. I'm Damian Christie from K2 Paranormal, and this is the Season 2 premiere. And this week, I have Kelly Shaffer of K2 Paranormal based out of Middle Tennessee. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Thank you. So,
I'm
like I
sorry
said,
the rest of my team couldn't be here.
it's all good. We'll make fun of them later. So,
Cool.
so
They
how are you
deserve
doing?
it.
Right? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
So we're
Getting
just
ready,
gonna.
getting over the first of the year stuff.
I hear that. So I'm just gonna dive right into this thing. So,
Okay.
what kind of led you down the paranormal path?
Um, I had paranormal experiences pretty much all of my life, but because of my upbringing, I was not allowed to follow those. I was raised in a religious cult, so they believed that everything having to do with the paranormal was demons, and you weren't allowed to go play with demons. So
Right.
I couldn't do anything. It wasn't until 2010 that I said screw it and started to investigate. And my daughter was the one that said I originally said she wanted to go out and do an investigation, which is why we've got the two Ks, the K2, because she was Kayla and I was Kelly. So we went with K2, but she's not with me any longer. So she's off doing her own little thing. So I started doing that in 2010, trying to find a team, couldn't find anybody to settle into. So I started my own team. And in 2018, I made a full commitment to carry a K2 in my back pocket.
There you go. So you said you've experienced stuff kind of all through life. So what's some of that stuff you experienced growing up that you weren't really allowed to talk about?
Um, I had a bed when I was growing up, a canopy bed, one of those ones that's straight out of Marie Antoinette with the
Mm-hmm.
gold and the white and the fluffy things and all that kind of stuff. But one of
Right.
the rungs that went across didn't have a stopper on it. So every time you got into bed, it would jingle. And after everything all calmed down, it would stop jingling and everything would be fine. Well, one night I was laying there perfectly still trying to go to sleep and it started jingling.
Oh wow.
Scared the living shit out of me.
I
And
bet.
as a child of about 13 or 14 years old, yeah, that scared the living crap out of me, and I hated that bed from that moment on. I don't think I had the canopy up ever again.
I don't blame you.
Um, but that was the scariest thing. I saw things when I was growing up. I could always tell who was on the phone before the phone got picked up. Just weird little things that I couldn't even enumerate now because I never kept track of them.
Right. And you said you weren't really allowed to discuss that because you grew up in a religious home. I find that interesting because a lot of people I know in this field, they have that same answer. They're like, I grew up
Mm-hmm.
religious. This stuff didn't exist to them, and they just kind of bottled it in, and they eventually got to a point where they just said, "Fuck it, I'm doing this because it interests me."
Right.
So you said you decided what in 2010 to officially start a team with your daughter. So that's
Yeah, I officially started the team. Yeah.
so. How did you come about actually getting your team put together that you have now?
Well, the reason why I do what I do is because somebody gave me a chance to investigate.
Right.
Somebody said, yes, you can come with us. And that's what I like to do is I like to get people that go, oh, I'd love to investigate a haunted place. Oh, I really want to do that. And I go, yay, great, come with me.
Right.
So all of my team is new. I do not have any
No,
seasoned investigators on there except for myself.
okay. So you're
I
kind of
raised them up.
the professor in a way.
Yeah, I'm the mom.
Oh, the
I'm the
mom.
mom.
Okay. Okay.
I'm the mom. Yeah.
So why did none of them want to come on the show?
A lot of them work. They're younger people, so they're constantly working their asses off, trying to make their way in life. My partner, Jim Corley, he drives truck at night, so he's off driving truck. Had we done this yesterday, he could have come in there with me, but this is the mascot. This is Diamond.
Oh.
You need to get down, baby girl. And they yeah and they're all, I don't think they're ready to talk about what they want to do.
Right.
um I think maybe half of them may have been on an investigation and the other half have never been on an investigation, so I
Okay.
don't think they felt as though they were qualified to be on the podcast. So
I understand.
okay,
And so it's
I understand.
right. It's roughly what
It's a little
20.
scary.
Yeah, it's like what, about 10 of you guys?
I think I'm up to 11 now.
Oh,
I
that's
think I just got one more person a couple of days ago.
that's a big team.
That's a big team, but getting
What?
them all together and getting them to an
And
investigation,
that's
it's like chasing cats.
right. See, whenever we started out with like 8 or 9, and
Oh, wow.
that was the big problem we ran into. We couldn't get the whole team together,
Hmm.
and we eventually just pretty much eliminated the ones we had to eliminate. But
Yeah.
the advantage of having such a large team is these larger, more expensive places that kind of helps cover the cost. So
Exactly. And that's one reason why I just add as many people as want to come on, because if you can always say, look, it's not working out, you need to find another team.
right,
But yeah, I just like to give people a chance to go do it. And if they don't find it to be something they want to do, then fine, that's great. You've gotten a chance, you've got your chance to do it.
right.
So yeah,
So
I
when
like
you
doing it.
right, so when you done that first initial investigation, you actually finally went out and said, you know what, I'm going to do this. What was the very first place you investigated?
Oh, oh shoot. Um, it was a private home.
Hmm.
There was a team of about 25 people that went to this private home.
Oh wow.
Get down, baby girl. Um, they said that there had been a suicide in the garage,
Oh man.
that they had apparitions that were in the backyard. The main bedroom for the husband and wife was haunted. Things would move, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's also the investigation that I learned that people fake evidence.
Oh hell.
So I learned how people fake scratches.
Mm,
I learned how people fake evidence by doing Photoshop and things like that. And it was not a team that I wanted to be with,
right.
because I like to have paranormal integrity as well as evidence integrity, because it's going to be held up if it's actually something real. And if you've gone through your entire career faking evidence, when you finally get something, people are going to question it.
Right.
So
So
I that's not what I wanted to do.
so more or less your first investigation was just a big waste of time.
Big waste of time. Yeah. And exhausted. Absolutely exhausted.
Okay, so your first real one then, what would that place be?
First real one. Let's see. First real. Oh, let's see. There were a couple of ones where you just sit in the dark for a long time, waiting for
Hmm.
something to happen and nothing happens.
Right.
But the one that was really cool was getting to investigate a naval hospital out
Oh
of
wow.
Vallejo,
Nice.
California, and we got to spend the entire night. We had not only the hospital, but we had access to the psych ward,
Oh
which
nice.
was a separate building. So that was an incredible experience. That one just being in that large of a location
Right.
and so many different things to see, I would dearly love to go back there.
Right.
Absolutely would love to go back there.
Now how long had that hospital been around when you investigated it?
Since Civil War,
Oh,
prior to Civil War.
so
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it's seen some tragic deaths up in that place then. So
Oh yeah. We had mostly shadow people. They didn't really we're starting off the investigation, and they always did a prayer before they started the investigation. I was with another team, and as we're standing there doing the prayer, one of our cases slammed shut.
oh hell.
And we're like, well, we're off and running.
Right.
But it wasn't very active that night. We had a lot of shadows, and that was probably about it. We had some EVPs and things like that. We had 3 rats that were running together, a very large one, a smaller one, and then a small tiny one. They all ran the building together.
Oh wow.
And for some reason, the large rat decided that I was a good person to get to know.
Right.
So I sat down on a step going up into up into the next floor. I sat down on the step to relax, and I felt kind of movement next to me, and I turned and I looked, and it was that flipping rat.
Oh man. You gotta love those creatures like that you know's there, but that you forget's there, and it scares the hell out of you.
Well, thank God rats don't scare me. So
So what's some of the best evidence that you've caught so far?
I unfortunately the best evidence I have, nobody had a camera going at the time.
Oh,
Nobody had anything going. We were at the Washoe House in Virginia City,
hmm.
and we saw coins materialize out of thin air and get thrown across the room.
See, that's mind blowing, and like it's like how the hell do you explain
It's
something like that?
how do you, yeah, how do you explain it? The only thing we have is a picture of the pennies we got. That was it.
That's
But they weren't old pennies. They were new pennies. And it was bizarre. I couldn't believe that happened.
right.
And then here in Tennessee, the first time I went out investigating here in Tennessee was the Coleman Center Cemetery down in Murfreesboro.
Hmm.
We're sitting in the cemetery and we're listening to the squat box, and I'm gazing off into the distance, and I see what looks like campfire flaring up and coming back down and flaring up and coming back down, and then it kind of stayed. And as I'm watching the fire, because I'm a little sensitive to fire after being in one of the wildfires in California, I'm very sensitive to it. So
Right.
I'm watching it thinking, oh, what's going to happen here? I see this guy walk out of the fire.
The hell?
And I'm like, what the heck is that guy doing down? Oh my God, there's only half of him. And I'm running down the cemetery trying to get down to that area before he disappeared, but he disappeared. It was my first full bodied apparition.
Oh
I
wow.
loved it. Well, he didn't have all of his body, he only had half of
It's
it.
a half body apparition.
Yeah, half body apparition.
That's pretty wild. And you're the
Diamond.
you're like the third person I know that's investigated the Washoe Club, and my good
It
friend.
is a must do.
See, see, that's
Stop.
what my good friend Lee Pig and Regina from PPF Investigations, they went there and they're like, even though it wasn't an active night, it was still an amazing place just to say that we've been there and got to investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
So
It is
it's
a must do. It is a must do.
now me and you were chatting the other night, trying to get this lined up. Did you
Yeah.
say you don't video while you're investigating?
I don't video, and I should. I just don't think of it. I'm too busy doing EVPs and trying to find hot spots and things like that.
Right,
What I really would like to have is somebody on the team that likes to do videoing, because
right,
I don't like to do video.
right,
It just bores me.
right.
I do have 4 cameras that I set up, so I constantly have a video camera or a camera going into an area. But
Okay,
as for
okay.
a mobile one, I don't have one. And like we were talking about, I think for me to do a video, I would have to have one of the body cams.
Hmm.
It's just not something that I even think to do.
Yeah, I just got one. I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to get it to work before our next investigation in a couple of weeks. So,
So if anybody's listening and you would like to be a videographer on a team, feel free to call me.
right,
Mhm.
right, right.
I need a video guy and a tech guy.
So you said you do a lot of EVP. So what's some of the other equipment you like using?
I've got the K2. I've got the voice recorders. We have one of those parabolic microphones where you
Hmm.
can hear off in the distance. That was really cool over at the Octagon House because you didn't have to go out in the forest to hear things.
Oh, right.
And so we used it out there. Let's see, what else do I have that's kind of interesting? I've got the dowsing rods. I use those quite
Hmm.
frequently. One of my best it went we were doing again a place out at Mare Island. It was one of the bunkers, and there was the group that was running the tour had out the sticks. And when I'm at a public tour, I always go to the outside. I don't go with the crowd. I always go to the outside ring of it, and I'm sitting there watching them, and the thought that pops into my head is they're asking the wrong questions.
Hmm.
So I went up there and I started asking questions, and the dowsing rods were just going crazy.
Right.
And I ended up doing it for about an hour to an hour and a half with there were at least 11 entities that were standing there that wanted to talk.
Oh, wow.
And they all got up there to talk, and well, 10 of them got up there to talk. And I said, now there's one that is not coming forward, and it's because you think we can see you. And
Right.
it ended up that this was a spirit that had lost part of its face.
Oh
And
hell.
so it was afraid that we would be scared of its appearance.
Right.
And it finally came up and it said, all I want to do is talk to my mom.
No.
It
That's
was so
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
But they took pictures afterwards and they got all kinds of auras around me and people standing beside me that weren't standing beside me. It was very interesting.
Sounds like
But
it.
I wish I had access to those photos.
Right. So
Stay down. Fine.
so what's like on your bucket list of locations you would like to go to?
Waverly.
Yeah, I think
Waverly and East Pennsylvania. What's that penitentiary? That one is it East Pennsylvania?
Eastern State Penitentiary.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah. See, I think everybody's has Waverly on their list. I've been fortunate enough before all the drama was going on up there to go 3 times, and
Ah,
and I'd seen a post earlier, um, from Ernie Pack. You know, they run the Save the Waverly Hills. They said
mhm.
there's fixing to be some big news coming soon. So
Oh, good. I want
hopefully,
him to get it sorted out. Get it sorted out so I can
right?
come.
Yeah,
I'm really wanting to do that.
because like I think everybody on my team, that's like their top spot. They're like, I want to go there, and I'm like, well,
Hmm.
all this shit's
Well,
going on, and
we're just going to have to do a joint venture when it gets figured out.
it's that's everybody's top list. A place that I would recommend going if you want a very affordable place is Rose Opera House up in Cynthiana, Kentucky. It's where
Okay.
it's where we had our
Oh,
most
yeah.
it's where we had our most recent investigation, and
Yes.
it's very
That's on my
affordable,
list.
and some of the stuff,
$30 a person, isn't it?
yeah, it's very affordable, and you have the
Hmm.
building the entire night. You're there by
Oh.
yourself. They give you the keys and they leave, which is
Oh.
which is rare because normally somebody has to stay on site and stuff like that. But no, they give you the
Mm.
keys and you're free to roam.
Leave the
And
keys under a rock.
right, more or less, yeah. And some of the stuff that we experienced there, it's a we already want to go back. I
Oh,
mean,
boy. Yeah,
during
that's on my list. I think I put it in for a March visit.
during
I think we had March that was open, so I thought I'd try and get something up there. I'm dying to go.
right.
I gotta go hunting.
Well, if you end up getting to go, they'll tell you during the walkthrough. One of the claims there in the main room is people witness these big balls of light that they can't figure out where they're coming from because there's no windows in there. The only outside light source is what little light shines through the curtain from like the lobby. And
Hmm.
so while we were there, me and my wife and my sister-in-law were up on the stage, and I look over and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And
Oh,
me and her
shoot.
me and her sister both seen this big ass bright ball of light just floating down the aisle like somebody was
Wow.
walking down the aisle. And I'm like, she goes, did you just see that too? And I'm like, yeah. And it was like I'm getting chills thinking about it. It was
Oh,
wild.
cool.
And so later on that night, um, we're back in that room after we've explored a little bit. We're back in there, and I'm sitting in the very back row, just kind of
Hmm.
observing the team, kind of taking everything in. And I noticed this light on the stage that it wasn't on earlier in the night. I'm looking, and I'm like, was that light on the whole time we've been in here? And my wife Kelly's like, what light? I'm like, the one behind you on the stage. And she turns around, she's like, no, that hasn't been on. And they had showed Polar Express that night. So they had the stage set up kind of like a Christmas scene. There was a fake
Oh,
fireplace. There was like a fake
cool.
there was like a fake fireplace up there, and with stockings hanging from it, and some chairs and a Christmas tree, and there was candles on the mantle, and one of those
Hmm.
candles had turned on. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there. I sit there for a minute, and I'm kind of thinking about it, and I walk down there, and I'm messing with this candle, and I figure out it's one of those candles you have to physically turn the bulb for it to come on.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, okay, earlier in the night we was on this stage for a good 35 minutes walking around. So if there was any kind of vibration, it should have came on when we were up here earlier walking around on the stage. When it came on then, like I said, I was sitting in the very back row. Another team member was sitting like in the middle, and Kelly and my son and my sister-in-law were walking around in front of the stage.
Oh,
And
cool.
what's wild about it is Kelly, like 30 seconds before
She
that,
has a good name, by the way.
yeah, right. Like 30 seconds before that, she had made the statement, gosh, it's so dark and I can barely see. and not 30 seconds later, that light turned on.
Oh, wow.
And they say that they believe that there's 2 or 3 children that haunt that area. So
Oh, wow.
she was like, one of those kids turned that light on for me.
What's the history of the building?
Oh gosh, I honestly I can't remember
Okay.
because
I'll look into it.
I was listening, but at the same time I was kind of get together a plan for the night. So
Right.
I listen, but like I don't let it soak in.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I go into an investigation, I like to know the history, but at the same time,
You
I
don't want to know the history.
I don't want to know because I don't want
Right.
to expect something to happen
Right.
and then maybe it doesn't happen. I'd rather,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this happened, and then like, oh well, this happens a lot, and
Right.
so and probably the craziest thing, which I wasn't around when it happened, and neither was my our teammate Ted. We were upstairs in the hallway upstairs, and the other three were back down in the main room, and they were getting ready to walk out. You know, the same room the candle came on, the same room the wall light was floating in. Um, our son had said something like, you know, thanks for your time and Merry Christmas.
Oh.
Right after that, this loud cackling female laugh just came out of nowhere, and it scared them all to the point they screamed and took off running. And
Oh my.
we heard them scream and heard them running. I was like, well, something must have just scared the hell out of them. And
Oh wow.
they came upstairs and told us. I was like, oh my gosh, did you have anything recording? They're like, I don't think so.
Oh.
They're like, you know, we were getting ready to walk out.
Oh.
And you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so all the outside noise had died down. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have heard that.
Mm.
But that happened. I'm a little under the weather, so I'm getting out of breath.
Oh, that's all right. I was under the weather yesterday. I know how you feel.
And so before that happened, we were all upstairs in that second floor hallway, and we kept hearing this full blown conversation going on downstairs. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, so all the outside noise is gone.
Right.
We'd go downstairs, it would stop, and we would hear it upstairs where we just were.
Mm-hmm.
Run back upstairs, it'd be happening downstairs again. Like they just kept just bouncing back and forth, just running this back and forth. And I was like, man. So I haven't got to review any of that stuff yet because,
That's it. It's coming up. I'm doing it sooner than March.
like I said, it was a great place, and like what history I do remember about it, it's got a lot of history, and so it's in a
Uh,
very upstairs, which used to be the original balcony.
mm-hmm.
We would hear like heavy breathing up there. We heard something that I think I figured out what it was. Something had like lifted this board up and dropped it on the ground,
Oh wow.
and my wife and her sister, they kept getting touched throughout the night. Either something would rub their hair or something would like kind of pull on their pocket. So it was an active night altogether, and
Wow. Oh man.
it was a very fun place.
Uh, yeah, I'll call you when I go. You can come with me.
Right. So for
Because
everything here,
who knows of my team who will be who knows who of my team would be there.
right. So speaking
There's
of your
another
team,
jab.
so speaking of your team again, so who are all your team members?
Let's see. My partner Jim, he is my lead investigator. He is also my resident skeptic. He
Oh,
does not believe, but he's open to it. When it actually experiences something, I want a camera on him because his mouth's going to be gaping open.
right.
Let's see. I got Jim. I've got his daughter Ashley, Nick Reed, Brittany Shaw just came on board. Um, Ashley's roommate, and I can't remember what her name is. So it's like I haven't been hunting with these people yet, so it's not like I've
Right.
got them all in my head. Let's see, Nick, Dick. Who else is in there? Oh, my Kelly, another Kelly.
Oh,
Kelly, who is she's our resident massage therapist. So if you need a massage during she's available. And her daughter, it's not Jayla, it's Shayla.
right.
Shayla, I can't remember. Who else is on there too? Chris Camp. God, I can't remember who else. I can't remember who I'm missing. One of those questions that I wasn't prepared for. I needed the picture in front of me. Your
Right.
cute, your great team picture that you gave me.
Right.
But yeah, I like to have people that are new. So they're all new, and I've only investigated with 3 out of those that I've named.
Oh
So
wow.
four including Jim. So
Right.
Jim I can always depend on. He'll go with me anywhere.
Right.
He's
So
also security.
right, there you go. So you named Waverly Hills, you named Eastern State Penitentiary. So what's like your,
I would love to do Mayvern House up in Iowa,
oh yeah.
the murder house. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. I would love to get into the Walking Horse Hotel, but it's not open. I guess it just got purchased out of bankruptcy and is not doing paranormal anymore. Um, I it's wherever it happens. I want to go. I want
Right.
to see what it is.
Well, well
No two places are the same.
what I was leading into with that, say money's no problem, traveling's no problem. What's like your dream location? Like somebody says, here's an open checkbook, go wherever the hell you want to go and investigate.
Scotland.
I think that's been
I
like
would go to Scotland.
I think
My
over there's
my
been like
cousin.
everybody's answers.
Well, my cousin lives in Scotland, and
Oh,
and my family is from Scotland. I'm like third or fourth generation in America, and my cousin's over there, and she actually runs a team too. She has Argyle Ghost Guides.
oh wow. Well, hey,
So her and her husband, they have 2 divot boxes, which I would dearly love to look at.
right.
They're insane with their stuff sometimes.
Well, hey,
Oh, and she just got one of the stick figure things. I can't remember what those are called.
the SLS camera.
He just got the LS. Oh my gosh, her husband just got that for her for Christmas. I'm like, oh my God, let me come visit.
Those things are pretty wild. We've got one, and
I like them.
we I think probably the craziest thing we've captured on it was at the Hotel Metropolitan up in Paducah, Kentucky, which
Hmm.
is another place I'd recommend you go because that place was active as hell, like all night long.
Oh wow.
And so we're it was just the three of us there. It was me and Kelly and Ted, and
Hmm.
for the first 45 minutes, it was just kind of dead. Like nothing was happening. You know, we was trying to get something to happen. I was like, man, I was like, it's just so dead. I was like, we got to do something to try to get stuff stirred up a little bit. And so this hotel, if you've never heard of it, it was built, I think, in 1909 by a black lady, and
Oh nice.
she built it specifically for black people to have a place to stay
Oh
during,
fabulous.
during segregation and all that stuff. So a lot of
Yeah.
well-known musicians and athletes of color would stay there.
Oh, I
And
love it.
so like people like BB King would stay there, Ray
Hmm.
Charles, just
Hmm.
the top of the food chain back then. People they would stay there, and
Right.
I was like, well, let's just play some music of some of the
Top of
people
the
like,
food chain.
right, you know what I
I
mean.
love it. I know what you mean. Top
um,
of the food chain.
so
Where we aren't.
right, I look in my I forget what I was gonna say. So I was like, let's just start playing some music of some of the people that stayed here and just see what happens. And so we turn on a Ray Charles song. It's one of his, no, it was a BB King song. It was a slower song. And
Stop, you're fine.
probably 20 seconds after it started, it mapped in a tall figure and a little small figure. And it stayed there.
Nice.
It stayed there the entire song.
Oh,
As soon as the
wow.
song stopped, they both disappeared.
Oh,
I was like,
cool.
okay, well, let's play a more upbeat song. So then we played, remember if it was Little Richard, because he stayed there too, or if it was Ray Charles, but it was a more upbeat song.
Hmm.
As soon as the song starts, they both pop back up. Tall one, short one. And this time it looks like they're actually dancing to the music.
Oh,
Like the
cool.
little small one looks like he's kind of doing like this, and the tall one just looks like he's tapping his foot.
Ah, cool.
Stays there the entire time, and as soon as the song stops, they're both gone.
I love it. That's awesome.
And
That is awesome.
so that started up everything. From that
Oh,
point
wow.
forward, it was doors opening. We would hear knocking. Probably one of the best EVPs I ever caught was at that location. I wasn't even recording with the EVP. It caught it on my camera. We I was set up in the upstairs hallway doing the Estes method,
Mm-hmm.
and my dumb ass forgot to turn on the hour light. So all you see is darkness, and you see you see the glowing red exit sign behind us, and
Oh, that's awesome.
you hear Ted say, "Are you Pop?" And then you hear Kelly kind of whisper, "Who's Pop?" Like just asking him, not trying to be loud about
Mm-hmm.
it. And then you hear me say something like, "I'm just trying," because that's what I heard through the headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you hear somebody at the camera say, "That's not my name."
Oh.
And it was so crazy. And I was like, man, I wish we would have had the hour light on, because right before that, probably a minute before that, I got touched on my left arm like 2 different times. Like something poked me and then something kind of rubbed my arm.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, man, I wish I would have had that light on, because who knows what we could have captured. But
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
excuse me. But that's another place I'd recommend you going.
Okay.
And, and
Yeah,
that can,
I would just, I mean, lists of where to go that just, I love it.
yeah.
Diamond, stop. Go get your
So,
toys.
so you've kind of went through like some of your bucket list places. So what do you have planned for 2023 now that we're in a new year?
2023 is going to be hitting some of the bigger locations that are more known to people. Like we want to try and do the Waverly. We want to try and do Diamond. We're going to do Octagon Hall again.
Mm-hmm.
I've got two. Stop it, you silly. No.
She wants attention too.
Yes, she does. She's a detention whore. Um, she she she's been like this all day. Um, let's see. I've got two private locations that are virgins. The one we've done one of them already, which was an antique hall or an antique mall, and they had one section where they had a DVD come flying off the shelf all by itself.
Oh hell.
And in that section of the shop where I had a camera set up and a voice recorder, we got a 10-minute EVP of someone moving things around the shelves.
Oh wow.
10 minutes.
That's crazy.
And then we also had one of our cat balls get played with over in that area. So on our second visit, we're going to be concentrating on finding where that's all coming from in those
Right.
two booths that are over on that side. And then then the other Virgin property is a pre-Civil War mansion that's being restored, and we get to go and be the first people in on that one.
I think you told me about that place. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's Saving Maggie Mansion.
That's
is
it.
the
That's
Facebook
it.
page. Yeah, the place is called Maggie Mansion. I'm not allowed to say where it's at, but
Right.
I can talk about it.
Right.
So it's going to be really neat. I've got the first run through with it when I just went to go see the property with the owner. I got an EVP of somebody saying "our home."
Oh wow. That's
So
awesome.
it's going to be great to find out if there's actually more activity there.
Right. And who knows, that may become like the next local hotspot.
That might become the next local hotspot. And the owners didn't know. They had no idea that there were people interested in coming through their property if there's paranormal and
right.
activity.
And especially if they're trying to restore the place and stuff like that.
Right.
That right there is a perfect way for them to do
yeah.
that.
You want to pay the lights? Have us come in.
Right. So
you want to pay the mortgage? Have us come in. I said, yeah, there's people that are batting at the bed to come in and pay you money so that they can come in and find ghosts. They're like, really? I'm like, yes. It was awesome.
So ultimately, what's your goal behind being a paranormal investigator? Like, what is your purpose behind this? Like, why do you do it?
I do it to find out what this is. There are so many realms that we have no idea about. And I'm sorry, but there is no way anybody can tell me that the things I've seen, heard, and experienced are all make believe.
Right.
I'm sorry. You can't tell me that my dog didn't see the predator thing. You can't tell me that I didn't see it at the same time.
Right.
And that we were chasing it along the sidewalk. Um, it's unreal. And I want more. I want to
Mm-hmm.
experience more, and I want to help find out what this is, and maybe find, I mean, we research history and paranormal together. And I have yet to have an experience where I'm actually touching history. That's the only way have a way of putting it, is just I've read about somebody and here they are trying to talk to me from the other world.
Right.
And are these dead people? Are these people in another reality? Or what the hell is this? I don't
Right.
know. And that's what keeps me going, is just to experience and see if there's any way we can figure out what this is.
Right. I mean, I think that's the biggest reason why all of us do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not to go out and get scared, because I don't want to go out and get scared, even though every time I go into a location, I'm going, okay, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. Like
I
that
mean,
downstairs, like the Octagon Hall with that passageway down in the basement. It's like, oh,
mm-hmm.
I hate that thing. I
that
hate it. I 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 hate it.
that basement.
Oh, we got an
Whatever.
orb. We got an orb down there. My first real orb. Oh, it was like, oh my. And that's why I tell people, I said, yeah, when you finally do see a real orb, you'll know what it is.
Right. Whatever is in that basement, at least when we went, did not like females down there whatsoever.
I didn't like it one bit. Nope.
And
Mm-mm. Nope.
it did y'all hear any of the growling in the nursery?
Not yet. I'm still doing all the EVPs, all the voice recorders. We have 7 hours on 5 voice recorders.
Yeah, that's the most draining part about being an
Yep.
investigator is all the evidence review.
Yep.
I'm still coming through stuff from back in October. So
And you would love to just put it through I don't know what the thing is, the spectrum, where it shows the lines for the sound. I'd love to just sound it through there and just look
right.
at the parts that are spiking, but you can't. I just found one EVP going through next to the last voice recorder at Octagon Hall, and it doesn't even spike.
Oh.
And it's there.
Wow.
And you go in, I isolated that, I put that one back up, and you have to really, really enlarge it to find where the voice is.
Right.
But that was very interesting. I will say that on the EVP from the Antiques Mall, they renamed their ghost because the ghost said Victor on the EVP, and they were calling him Fred. So now he's named Victor.
It's funny you said his name is Fred, because I'm a manager here at a store here in Athens City where I live, and there's shit that goes on at the store like all the time.
Oh yeah.
So before I came along, the people that worked there, they just nicknamed him Fred, and I'm the only guy that works there, so all the girls that work for me want me to bring all my stuff in one night after we close, and I keep telling them, I was like, why do you want me to do that? And they're like, well, we want to know what's going on. I was like, okay, say I come in here and I capture some crazy shit. I was like, you aren't going to want to work at night anymore.
No one's going to want to work.
I was like, then I'm going to be stuck working at night all the time. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. I want to know for myself, but if I capture anything, I'm not going to tell them.
There was one place I worked where one of the employees actually died at their desk.
Oh.
And somebody failed to tell me that when I first became employed. And as I'm working there late at night, there's a box flap being flapped, box and back and back and forth and back and forth. And I'm like, thank you for telling me. I really appreciate it.
Right.
I mean, there's no investigator out there that can't tell you that you get a little bit scared when you're in a location that's actually active.
I mean, you got
we all do.
You got to at least get a little spooked at times.
Yeah, we do have a rule on my team though that you're not allowed to scare the new employees or the new investigators.
Right.
The first time that the first investigation at the hospital there in Vallejo, they decided that because I was a newbie, they were going to scare me. So they said, yeah, why don't you go in that dark room and we'll, and see what you can find in there. So I went through the passageway and there was somebody standing right there to scare me. And he nearly got a broken jaw.
No,
So I made the rule, no scaring the newbies.
I don't ever have to worry about somebody scaring me because most of the time I scare myself when I'm in a place. I'll either round a corner and there'll be a mirror there I'm not expecting, or I forget there's a mannequin in the corner, something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was,
Oh, I loved it. I loved it when we were at the Octagon House because Ashley's a nurse.
mhm.
So she just went and laid down in the bed, and I'm like, okay. Yeah,
So if people want to
Jim's
follow,
unshakable.
oh yeah, something will happen to him. It'll make him piss
Oh
himself.
yeah, oh yeah. It's going to be fun to see. I
So
can't wait.
so no, I remember when I was just fixing to ask. American Paranormal Magazine. Did you
Yes,
say you were fixing to start kind of doing some writing for them?
I just made my second submission. I'm. It's probably why I don't do video because I'm getting the experience for writing.
Hmm.
Writing is my base. I'm
Right.
I'm a wordsmith. So I sent in my first one, which was on photographic evidence and how green spots on your film is not an orb,
Hmm.
and a couple other things that people think are paranormal and they're not. They're just the way that your camera works.
Right.
So I sent that article in, and then I just did an article on um, baby girl. I know you're so cute. I know we all know you're cute. I just sent my second article in on an experience I had at which place did I do it on? It wasn't Mokelumne Hill. I just sent my second one in. I'd
There
have
you
to look
go.
it up and see which one it is. Once I get them all written, then they go out of my head,
Right.
and I can't remember them.
Well,
Stop.
hopefully, you'll get it published in there, and you'll
Oh,
be.
the first article already was accepted.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the first article got accepted. I'm waiting for accept. Stop it, you little nerd. Yes, I know you want to go investigating too, but you'd be scared and run out. Um, the second article, I just submitted it on Thursday, so I'm waiting for that to as to when that one's going to be published. That one's probably going to be in the March, April
Okay.
article.
Well, then
Stop
you would be the
magazine.
one, two, three, fourth person I know other than ourselves that's been in this magazine. So
Oh, cool.
and
Are
so
they doing articles or are they just doing their team thing?
one of them, but you may know him, Eric Freeman Sims. He was just on the
Eric
cover.
does a lot of writing. Yeah.
He was just on the cover of the Tennessee edition. About his investigation and his podcast and stuff, and then a couple other people that do podcasts that I've chatted with that they've been in it too. So
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not really into it's like doing the podcast for me. It's one of the things to start getting our name out there and
right,
letting everybody know, hey, we're here. We love Paraunity. We are firm on Paraunity,
right,
and we will go out with other teams. If you don't have enough people, give us a shout out. We'll see if we can go and help you out with that.
right,
Um, and so podcast is the main thing that I'm using to try and get our names out there.
right,
But for me, being on camera and stuff like that, I'm really not into it. I would much rather be in front of my computer typing my little fingers against the keys.
right. There's nothing wrong with that. And
Yeah, I
and,
know.
and speaking of American Paranormal Magazine, I'm going to plug my team real quick. For those that don't know already, um, actually you can order it on the 15th, which will be the day this
Hmm.
episode comes out. We're going to be on the cover of the Tennessee edition of American Paranormal Magazine,
Congrats.
which I think is super cool. Like I wasn't even planning that. I wasn't even planning on the team being in the magazine back in October, and that just kind of happened by chance. I just
So
messaged,
awesome.
I had emailed them to see how we got on the very back page because they have a section on the very back page. They just like list your social site. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Get my name on a magazine. And so she emailed me and she's like, hey, we've looked into your team. We want to feature you guys.
How cool.
I was like, oh, okay, that's sure. And then you know, through our emails back and forth, she eventually asked if she had told me they were fixing to take it even bigger and do state editions and all this other stuff. She's like, "Would you guys want to be on the cover of the All of Tennessee edition?"
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm like, "Bring it on, let's do that." So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
so yeah, anybody that wants to order that, you can start ordering that edition
So
of American
so
Paranormal
basically
Magazine.
I can say that I knew you before you became famous.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Because we actually officially
I
met.
remember him.
Because I think me and you actually like met on Facebook through one of those paranormal.
No,
We
no,
met.
we met at the Paracon in October.
Yeah, we met in person there.
Oh, okay. Did we meet on Facebook?
We did because
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think you had messaged me saying it was nice to meet you, and I was like, oh shit, I've like actually talked to her before. Guess we had met through one of those Facebook groups and was just discussing paranormal. So,
Yeah. I
and when you
love talking about the paranormal.
right,
It's
it's
so much fun.
one of those things that I think people that really enjoy it could just talk about all day long. So,
Yeah. History, paranormal, and sex. I could pretty much talk about all day long.
oh man. So speaking of Facebook, how can
And food.
so how can people follow along with you guys if they want to follow your team? Like
We
what?
have we have a website, k2pn.com, and then we have the Facebook page of K2 Paranormal Research. Um, and that's about it right now. I think I've got Instagram set up under K2 Paranormal Research. I don't do TikTok anymore, for a few reasons. Primarily because it's video and I don't do video. But yeah,
You
that's
could do
where we are.
you could do TikTok like we do and just use it for promotion. You don't have to be on camera.
Yeah, we could
Like
do that.
every time we have an investigation, that's where I start my promotion of it. That's where I start my promotions on upcoming episodes,
Hmm.
and kind of gets the word out there.
I think I have a YouTube thing too, but it's why I need a videographer. It's why I need a tech guy.
Right.
I did go to school and I was a computer geek for a long time, but I haven't kept up with it and now I'm far behind. So I'm I can understand what you're saying. I just don't know how it happens.
Right. So Facebook website, no MySpace.
Isn't that a little old?
Oh goodness. It's funny you mentioned a minute ago about your dog wanting to go on investigations. Have you actually ever thought about bringing her just to kind of see what she reacts to?
Um, she's not calm enough yet. I think maybe when she gets older, she's only a year old.
Okay.
She's just over a year old. And wait, no, is she two now? She's two now. So she's two now. She's got her terrible twos going on. She would much rather be chasing balls down the hallway. So right now, no, but it is a thought that's in the back of my mind because she is very empathic.
Right.
So she might be a good tool.
I told my wife, I was like, we need to get us a ghost hunting dog. And
Yeah.
you can't just buy a dog that ghost hunts. You have to. I was like, but you know what I mean. I was like, I want one that we could bring with us.
Yeah, she watches things. She'll watch things on the, and I know that my house isn't haunted. I made sure of that before I bought it. I've already lived in three of them. I don't care to live in another one. Um, but she'll watch things and she'll hear things going on. So I don't know if she's actually responding to something that's there or not. But
Right.
she would be nice. And I know that at one point Jason Hawes was taking his dog out.
Yeah, see, I thought actually that's where I got the idea from. Is he was taking
Hmm.
his dog Maddie out, which
Yeah, he was taking Maddie out.
unfortunately I seen on Facebook a few months ago that she
Yeah, she
passed
just
away.
passed away.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like, that's
poor
too bad.
baby. Well, I think the thing that's come back to me the most is in my animals. I've had my previous dog come back and I had my cat come back and I had somebody else's dog follow me
Oh
from
wow.
where they died.
Huh.
So, yeah, that was an interesting experience.
That's crazy. So I'm gonna wrap this interview up with this question right here.
Okay,
What
I'm ready.
what paranormal experience has absolutely scared you the most? Like shook you?
Mokulumee Hill,
Uh,
hands down, Mokulumee Hill.
and where's this? What is that?
Mokulumee Hill is in California,
Okay.
and there is a place there called Hotel Azure.
Hmm.
and or hotel leisure. That I don't know how I call it hotel leisure. Anyway, and we were staying there, and the person that I was there with was affected by the resident shapeshifter.
Oh wow.
And I literally saw him walking out the front door, and I went running after to find out what the hell was going on. When I got to the door, it was an entirely different person. I went running up to the hotel room, and he was in the bed gray. And I had to call some witches that I knew to get us out of there, to get us some protection and get us out of there. That's one reason why we go on when we go on an investigation, everybody must have their protection with them, period. The
Right.
end. You don't go in if you don't have it. And I also, if anybody goes to Hotel Leisure or Hotel Ledger, um, do look out for that shapeshifter. It's probably not demonic, but somebody needs to look into it, because not only did I experience it, but when Ghost Adventures was there,
Mm-hmm.
Zach saw it
Mm.
and he didn't go after it. And I'm like, you missed a great opportunity.
Yeah.
But he saw one of his teammates, and that teammate was someplace else on the property.
That's crazy. I don't know if I ever
So
did something like
it's
that.
somebody needs to, if you run into it, you need to chase after it.
Right.
So yeah, that was the experience. I didn't hunt for over a year, or probably around a year and a half
Oh wow.
after that, because that was a very scary experience. You know that some spirits can affect us that way. Some
Right.
entity
Oh
can
yeah.
affect us
Yep.
that way.
And see, that's what some people don't realize, and the people that kind of, I don't want to say make a joke of this thing, but they don't take it as serious as they should.
Hmm.
And you just never know what the hell could happen. So
Yeah, you don't know what's there, especially if you're going into a property that's never been investigated before. You don't know what's there.
right,
You don't know if there's something looking to attach onto somebody.
right.
And I'm not saying it's a demon.
Yeah,
Demonic
not everything's demonic.
demonic possession and demonic activity is extremely rare.
Mm-hmm.
If it was as popular as people want you to believe, I think the Catholic Church would be inundated.
Right.
So
So all right, well, Kelly, I really enjoyed this interview. It was a fun interview. It was informative. Um, like I said, we had to bump you up a week, which is no big deal.
that's cool. That's
So,
cool.
um,
I happened to take a shower today, so it was all right with me.
well, there you go. Well, everybody, be sure to follow Kelly and her team, K2 Paranormal, on Facebook. Check out their
And I
website.
love them all. I love them all as much as I jab at them. I love them all.
So go ahead and follow those guys. Like I said, K2 Paranormal, Kelly Shaffer. Thank you.
Thank you.